What's going on, adventure seekers? It's Ryan from CB Adventure Supply. We're here today. We just finished up this phase of this new Tundra. This is a Toyota Tundra SR5 TRD off-road. And we've done a few pieces of this build. The customer will be bringing it back when it's time to do the next phase. So let's talk about what we did on this go around. So we started with Dobinson suspension in the rear. We did their heavy duty coils with the IMS shocks, and we also did the Yoda Mafia extended brake lines back there. The rear end does have enough travel that the factory brake lines would not allow it to fully droop without stretching those. So we did extend those to allow him to get full articulation out of the rear. In the front, we did the Westcott Designs kit, which gives us the height we need to clear the ridge grappler, the 35 by 12.5 on these method wheels. We did have to remove the front mud flaps to get the clearance we needed in the wheel wells, but the stance, the height, everything is perfect. Truck drives great as well. So we're really happy with what we've done in the suspension department on this truck. And it has the amount of spring rate for the rear that is sufficient for the Alu-Cab canopy camper and all the gear he's going to be carrying inside of it. So let's move on to the roof rack. On the roof of the Tundra, we did a Sherpa Equipment Company. This is the Grizzly. This is their new rack for the 22 and up Tundra. And because the camper was going on, this had to go on before that happened. There are some brackets that need to be riveted to the roof of the truck, and can it be done with the camper on? Yeah, it's really tough though, so it makes it a lot easier. So this roof rack here gives the customer the ability to mount a light bar up front, as well as carry some gear in front of the nose of the camper. And as you can see, it does have the clearance that we need for the table bracket. So he still has the ability to use the Alu-Cab table, which isn't in here yet. And he's got plenty of room here to allow for the deflection of the bed to the cab, so that way he's not making contact. This is a really stable, solid roof rack. Even if you're not running a camper on here, this would be my go-to choice for newer style Tundra. All right, so here we are in the back of the truck, and this is an Alu-Cabin on this 22 plus Tundra that we're building. And this cabin is the 5.5 foot model. And the cabin itself, just like the canopy camper, has some basic features that are included with the camper. So you'll see throughout the camper there are the National Luna lights. Those lights have 3 stages of brightness, as well as the ability to change from white to red. Each door has a light. There's also one on the underside of the floor of the camper in the sleeping area up here, and then one up top above your bed. All of those lights come pre-wired into a wiring harness that comes down into the corner for you, the customer, or us as the installer to build that out and provide the power with whatever that's going to look like. The other standard features that it has is the back door itself come with it. One of the standard features included with the camper is that the roof is pre-wired for solar. There's an Anderson SB50 connector up on the roof that is also wired into this main wiring harness down here, so it allows you to go ahead and wire all that in, and then if you're not ready for solar yet, all you've got to do is add the panels to the roof and plug them in. On most cases, what we do is we use the Sunflare solar panels, either in the 105 or the 126 watt models, and we adhere those to the roof using Sikaflex and then wire them in. We use the load bars across the roof to protect the wiring. And this gives you the ability to still drive under trees and things like that. Utilize the roof too if you want to carry a kayak or something occasionally. You're blocking your solar panels, but it's not stopping you from doing that. So that pre-wired solar option and the Sunflare panels really are a great combination for the roof of the camper. The customer elected to do the rear molly panels, which is an Alu-Cab accessory, on the back corners of the camper. And this allows you to mount all kinds of cool stuff to the rear, one of which is the Expedition Essentials propane mount. Now this is designed to hold a 10-pound propane bottle with an adapter. You can carry a 5-pound inside of it. It does have a safety on it, as well as a tumbler lock that allows you to secure the propane bottle while you're in transit. In most cases, you leave the propane bottle there, hook up to it, connect it to your stove or your heater, whatever you're trying to feed with the gas, and no need to remove it from the back of the camper. Behind me here is the GP Factor folding table. This mounts to the rear door, and this gives you a nice work surface to use, whether it's cook prep, working on your cameras, you know, fixing your drone props because you hit a tree. I mean, there's no telling what you got to do, and you need a flat surface to do that in. Because we no longer have a tailgate, the GP Factor table really gives you a nice usable surface that also has a slide out bamboo cutting board. So this is one of those, I feel like it's kind of like a necessity, even with the most basic camper builds. All right, so let's talk about power. We already mentioned that the camper comes pre-wired for the National Luna lights, the solar on the roof. There's also some power ports up near the sleeping area, as well as some stock lights that fold out in the bed area as well. All that's pre-wired into a wiring harness that drops down into this driver rear corner. Now on this camper, the customer wanted a complete power system, so what we did is we used the Goose Gear Alu-Cabin corner panel electrical panel, I think is what they call it. And this comes as a blank slate and allows us to build out the power system exactly to the customer's needs. In this case, we've got a Red Arc BC-DC. This is handling our solar as well as our vehicle charging. We've got circuit breakers for the solar and the main power feed to this board. We've got a Victron battery monitor, a set of Blue Sea switches, and some power ports here. We've got 2 USBs, some quick charge USB-C and A, and then a standard 12-volt socket. The switches allow you to control everything from a master panel. All the lights and everything have individual switches on them, but if I'm getting ready to pack up camp and I want to make sure my camper's shut down completely, I can just turn all these master switches off and shut down everything. Now, we did only utilize a few of these switches, which gives him some room for growth. And one of those items is we went ahead and pre-wired for a fridge back here because he plans on adding one in the near future. That way the panel's ready to go. All he's got to do is plug it up to the Anderson connector and flip the switch, and now his fridge has power. And then we've got all the wiring down below that is providing power to the battery, which in this instance the customer had us install the battery over in the passenger front corner of the bed, and that is going to work out for his layout on what he plans on building on the inside. And the other is the main power feed coming up from the primary start battery on the truck that provides power to the Red Arc BC-DC. So this is probably about an average electrical build, whether it's a canopy camper or an Alu-Cabin, but it gives you a lot of functionality in what would otherwise be unutilized space. So we really like this layout right here. All right, so here up at the head wall of the camper, which this is the wall between the cab and the camper itself, we have the Alu-Cab water tank. This is a 13-gallon tank, and this customer elected to have us install the Alu-Cab storage bags that mount on the face of the water tank to help utilize this dead space. The bags give you a great storage for towels, otherwise gear that you just want quick access to, but don't want to store it away in one of the boxes that you have floating around here in the back. Now, this hose right here is gravity feeding this tank to the back door, where we have a spigot mounted to allow him to have access to the water without having to get up inside the camper. So we talked about the table on the rear door. Maybe you're back there doing dishes and you need some water to put in your pot to boil for cleaning up. You've got water right there at the spigot on the back door. It does have a vent on it that allows the tank to allow the water to move side to side while you're going down the trail and not push water out through the vent. The hose is long enough to handle that. So this is a great option for storing water in a dead space. All right, so we're here at the rear door. Now, we mounted a 35-inch tire, so this is 35 by 12.5 Nitto Ridge Grappler on the back door using the Alu-Cab spare tire carrier. In order to fit a tire this large, you do have to trim the bottom half of the molly panel off, and this allows the tire to come all the way around, and it will touch the back, but it gets the back door at a full 90 degrees, so you're not encroaching on that space you have going in and out of the back of the camper. It's not hard to do. We use an air saw. We trim the bottom of the panel off, and then we hit it with some paint, so you can really, honestly, unless you're not looking at it real close, never tell that that's been cut. You do lose that space on the panel, but really with the tire opening, that space is unusable anyways. So on the side of the camper, we have the Alu-Cab shadow awning. This is the left-hand or US driver side awning. It's a very robust awning. The camper has specific brackets that allow this awning to mount, as well as it has a deflector in the front that helps keep tree branches from getting caught between the awning and the camper and really tearing on the bag and doing damage that we don't want done. I'm sure we'll do another video with the awning deployed at some point and kind of go through its features, but there's a lot of information out there about the Alu-Cab shadow awning. It is really one of the most robust out there on the market. So here inside the camper, you can see that we've got the floor pushed up, and this allows us to stand in the back of the truck and use this space in inclement weather, changing clothes, all the great things that you can't do with a traditional truck camper. We can do that in the back of an Alu-Cab, canopy camper, or Alu-Cabin. There is a mattress up there. It's pretty comfortable, as well as there's a small section of floor right here that has a short piece of mattress on it. In most cases, we wind up taking that off and using that as a work surface. Whether you gotta fire up your laptop and knock out some emails, it gives you a standing height desk really inside the camper that is awesome for doing small tasks where you just need to get it done real quick in some privacy. If you have any questions about anything that we covered or you saw in the video that we didn't cover, please feel free to either comment on the video or reach out to us here at the store. You can contact us through cbadventuresupply.com, or you can give us a shout on the phone. Our number is 817-330-4466. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you at the store sometime soon.